So I just did a search here for the term gang stalking today. Going down here, you'll see they've got all the usual bunk, the usual shills, the usual actors, which is pretty much all you're going to get when you type this search term in. For the most part, maybe a few people who are legit, but not many, very few. And then look where it comes up here. You go down. That's my second channel there, my backup channel there. So you can see that one there from June 19th. Ceases run organized stalking in Canada. June 19th to the 23rd. That comes up in the midst of all of this stuff here. This nonsense here. This drivel. These fake actors, and some of these people are just drug addicts who they're exploiting and having them pose as targeted people. So when you see this here, the interesting thing is on that, my second channel there, I don't anywhere there, nowhere do I use the term gang stalking at all. It's not in any of this, the terms that I used. So why is it coming up there? You know what I mean? It's called organized stalking in Canada, the second channel. That's a different term than gang stalking. I mean, it's similar, sure, but I don't know why they're having it come up in this category. Well, I do know why, actually, because everything else here, you can see the type of trife that comes up. The rest of it, it's done to discredit, and it's intentionally being done to discredit by grouping me in with all of this nonsense here. So grouping someone who brings forth real evidence in with a bunch of actors and all this nonsense. And interestingly enough, this guy here, this character here, who does all this, it's weird sort of, nothing whatsoever to do with actual organized stalking. He just puts the term gang stalking and plays songs with like this weird LSD type of hallucinogenic pictures of people. I guess these are supposed to be these, what they refer to as like the chosen ones. That's another psyop that they put out with all this, with this stuff. But interestingly enough, that guy there, I thought he looked familiar initially. That's a guy, that's an actor. Like 100% that's an actor. And I know that because he was playing a different role, that character, on YouTube. He had a really large YouTube channel a few years back. I remember seeing him, and it was a different name, and he was big. They were promoting him again. Of course, they're promoting him. He's probably involved in Masonry in some way, and they gave him his platform as an actor. And now they've got him taking this different role as an actor to kind of act goofy and totally, bring this term. Of course, he brings the term gang stalking into it and talks about supposedly targeted individuals and all this crap, and then just does all this nonsense and kind of associates it with weird LSD type of, I don't know what exactly it is. It's just ridiculous. You can see it there, right? But that guy, that is an actor, 100% that guy. And now he's playing a different role. Again, he's been funded to play this role so that they can take this subject matter and just turn it into nonsense. Just totally turn it into absolute nonsense. And right above there, in the midst of all of this, you see my video there from my second channel, which I never use this term, gang stalk. I intentionally avoid using it because I know the type of trife that you're going to be associated with for the most part. I mean, there's a few people here and there who are legit, but for the most part. So they've done this intentionally to discredit, obviously, because I'm putting forth real evidence, and this is legitimate material here, real material, and that actually focuses on the actual subject of organized stalking. And in the midst of all this, like, look, let's go up here. You got the usual bunk, all this garbage that has not. That guy puts out like, I don't know, 10, 15 videos a day, playing his guitar and putting up stuff that's just totally done to degrade the subject matter in general. He's got a picture of George Lucas and Spielberg here. I mean, ridiculous. But yeah, he's a different guy. I wish I remembered the name of his channel. He had a really, really big YouTube channel that they promoted. Going back to like around 2007, 2008, I used to see him regularly, and they would always suggest his channel. He was kind of doing like, I think like social commentary and stuff like that. And maybe occasionally he played music, but he had a different name, and that he was playing a different role. So that's 100% an actor, that guy from The Glow or whatever. And he's mixing in just this ridiculous sort of, I don't know what you would call it, like, yeah, it's like this LSD, psychedelic, whatever type of thing, which is just ridiculous. It's all done to degrade this subject matter in general. And that's why, again, I don't use that term, and I try my best not to use the term targeted individual either. Because of all of the things that it is associated with, and because you're going to get similar results. if you type that term in. So I'll try other things, try to use other terms than that specifically. Those two terms especially, if you'd use gang stalking or targeted individual, this is the type of stuff you're going to be associated with for the most part. So there's other ways of describing it too. You just have to kind of be creative and try and put it out there in a different way. To not be associated with this type of bunk. But even if you do that, they're still going to try to associate you with this stuff to discredit you if you're putting out real material that documents these criminal acts. Yeah, see, this is all you get here. So this is all you get. And then you get the tarot cards, of course, too. You got to have your people with your tarot cards putting up this occult nonsense that has nothing to do with the targeting program or organized stalking itself. They've got to totally bring in crap like that to discredit, right? So my video, you got all this, you go down and then you see my video amidst all this stuff. And then you got other people who put up stuff that's just like, they'll film like 4 hours of nothing happening and then put put quote unquote gang stalking in the description, you know what I mean? And that's all done to discredit too. So they'll film whatever outside their house for like 4 hours and just have like one car drive up or something and then put that. And then, you know, you got your crazy people here who post like 15 videos a day as well, all of them funded for the most part. But yeah, I just wanted to show that. I mean, that's what they try to do, and it's all done to try to discredit. Now, I never used that term for that channel at all, nor when I first started the main one, I used it occasionally, just because that's where, you know, you would look for some of this stuff. But when you realize how flooded these sites are with just actors and all this nonsense with regards to the subject matter, and then you can see how they make it so easy, because they send these fraud shills in fake debunkers to argue with these people who are basically actors, and it's all coordinated together. And then they say, well, you're crazy, lay off the meth, things like that. And yeah, like the person does really look crazy and they're really acting crazy, right? Because in some cases they are, and in other cases they're just actors. So this is what they try to do. It's all about discrediting the real people who this is happening to. And yeah, I've seen nothing else here legitimate of all of this stuff I've looked at besides the one that I have down below. And I didn't want it associated with this category, with that term, but Google is doing it to obviously intentionally discredit my material.